Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Larry Broughton, Tools for Success, Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year winner. All right, Larry, so we get this question quite often. You know, I'm an entrepreneur and my workload is getting heavier, and I need to bring in a managerial team. Do you have any pearls of wisdom for people, entrepreneurs who are in that situation?
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of the biggest responsibilities an entrepreneur or business owner has, and that is to bring in either successors who are going to lead the organization or just build a management team. Because ultimately our responsibility as a business owner or an entrepreneur is to increase the value of our business, isn't it? But you know what? I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are conflicted by this challenge, and it comes down to this, that we understand that in order to take our organization to the next level, we need to bring in seasoned managers to really operate the day-to-day aspects of the business. But we also tend to be a little bit ego-driven, and we tend to think that no one can run the company better than I can, and so I'm never going to find anybody good enough. And we use that as a fear or stall tactic, and we never make the decision. So the first thing I would recommend that you do is identify what are your core values and what are the core values of your organization. There are plenty of assessment tools out there to help you with that. In fact, we have them here at Tools for Success. And so I'll just ask you to identify what are your top 3 or 5 core values. Once you've done that, then look for your manager. Don't try to look for your manager first, then do it. Identify your core values. Find your management candidates. I'm not going to go through all the ways to find management candidates, but once you have your management candidates in the room with you, before you share too much about your organization, before you share too much about what's expected of the person, I would just say this to them, or set the situation like this. Okay, Ryan, let's assume that you're going to come in, you're going to lead my company. Tell me about how would you lead it? What would the organization look like if you owned this organization? How would you infuse innovation and creativity into the organization? How would you resolve conflict between team members and associates? How would you deal with grievances with your customers? We all have customers one way or another. And I would ask them to kind of role play and tell you what it would look like under their reign. Because the reason is, you're going to get a lot. If they describe an organization that is similar to what you aspire your organization to be, dig deeper at that point. But if they define or describe the organization in ways that don't fit the core values that you've already described, stop the interview there, because you're not going to change those, and just dismiss them. Let them go. Don't commit to that. You know, on a lot of the bulletin boards and on computers around our organization, in fact, I carry mine with me, and I've got it on a bulletin board as well, is this little thing. What to look for when hiring managers and what to avoid when hiring managers. Let me go through some of these. It's just kind of 5 each, and it makes it really simple. So what to look for when hiring a manager. Strong merchant skills are really incredibly important, because the goal of any manager is to increase the value of the business, right? And so they have to have an intuitive sense of financial performance and sales and marketing for the organization. So they've got to have those innate merchant skills. Those can be built over time, but you want to make sure they've got strong merchant skills. Absolutely, they must have effective leadership skills, the ability to motivate people, to inspire change, to instill the corporate culture and core values that you've defined for your organization. Strong customer service skills are an absolute must. Whether you're an information entrepreneur or you're an aerospace manufacturer, you have customers, and the customer service aspects need to really be infused and just part of your manager. A high level of creativity and innovation. If you're not creating, if you're not evolving, you're dying. That's the reality of our marketplace today. And so the manager has to have a high level of innovation and creativity. And then lastly, and really most importantly, is an outstanding set of character traits. Integrity and a competitive spirit and loyalty. Those are really important. Now here's some of the things I think you just got to absolutely avoid. What we just say is what to avoid when hiring managers, right? Administrative yes men. Well, what does that look like? Administrative yes man to me is someone who is just, frankly, they're afraid to take risk, and so they're always going to tell you what they think you want, that you want to hear. So they have to be risk takers, because innovation, change, growth is born out of fear. So you can't hire people, I beg you, don't hire people whose fear of loss is greater than their fear of gain. So they've got to be risk takers. The other thing is dreamers. You absolutely have to have people who embrace reality. Reality is our friend. And if they're just dreamers, don't hire them. Disciplinarians. If these are people who prefer negative reinforcement versus positive reinforcement, I would say don't even consider them. Egomaniacs. These are people who don't understand the value of team building. They think it's all about them. They're going to be short-lived in any organization that's trying to reach for success. And lastly is just stress cases. These are people who just don't know how to infuse balance into their life. They're running around like a chicken with their head cut off. That just causes too much stress in the organization. So I think that if we stick to these top 5 things what to look for, 5 things to avoid, I think you're going to be on the right track of finding that superstar manager who can take your organization to the next level.
Fantastic.
Go for it.
Fantastic.